Hello everyone, I'm Dr. An진원, professor at Handong Global University. I'd like to discuss about Korean economic development with you. And let me introduce myself. I'm a professor, School of Management and Economics at Handong Global University. And currently, I'm an advisor to the Secretariat at the National Assembly, the Republic of Korea. And I was a former Assistant Secretary to the President of Korea, the Office of the President of the Republic of Korea. And also I was the former Director, Department of the National Agenda, Presidential Commission on Policy Planning. And today I'd like to talk about why the Korean economic development is admired and what factors contributed to the Korean economic development. And I will discuss first of all the roles of the government and entrepreneurs and workers and citizens and international environments surrounding the Korean economy. And also I would like to share why the North Korea failed and why the former socialist countries declared transition to the market economy. And this is the order of my discussion today. And as you know, the US President Barack Obama, his father is from Kenya. I mean that Barack Obama is not a descendant of the slaves in the United States. His father came from Kenya and married an American woman. And Barack Obama, when he visited his father's country, Kenya, in 2010, he said that when I was born, Kenya per capita might have been wealthier than South Korea. Now it's not even close. So I became very curious when he was born, and secondly, what income were Korea and Kenya at the time. I came to know that President Barack Obama was born in 1961, and I checked the nominal income in 1961. South Korea was $92, Kenya $95, Uganda $146, Thailand $101, Philippines $611. So at that time, Kenya was wealthier than South Korea, and even the Philippines was more than 6 times wealthier than South Korea. But let's take a look at 2011. 2011, the nominal income, South Korea is more than $22,000. Kenya, said to say $808. Uganda, $487. Philippines, $2,300. You know, those numbers are only the nominal income. So we have to think about the price level in each country and then inflation rate. It is called the PPP, Purchasing Power GDP. I checked the Purchasing Power GDP 2011. Korea more than $30,000. Kenya $1,700. Philippines $4,100. And I compared with developed countries. For example, Japan. Japan has income, nominal income is $45,000. It is more than twice that of the South Korea. But if you check out the PPP GDP, it's quite close between South Korea and Japan. The income is close. You know, the housing price and the prices of the major goods are way higher than those in Korea. So even though the Japanese are receiving double the income of the South Korea, their standard of living is quite similar to South Koreans. And take a look at the New Zealand. Even though the nominal income is higher, but the PPP income, the living standard is lower than the South Korea, and even the Israel also lower than the South Korea. And those are the miraculous change over last 5 decades. Now let's take a look at more closely what happened in South Korea. And also, this is quite a recent one. 1 month ago, the Secretary of the State John Kerry, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, told about Korea. You see it today in the recipient of the American assistance who are graduating from that assistance into full-fledged partnership in the trading community. Look at South Korea. In less than a generation, South Korea has been transformed from an aid recipient to one of the major donors in the world today. And that's an incredible story. You know, South Korea suffered the colonialism as many developing countries suffered in the last decade. From 1910 to 1945, we suffered the colonialism by the Japanese. In the 35 years under the Japanese rule, about 10% of Koreans escaped to Russia and China and America. Another 10% were deported to battlefield as soldiers and workers and sex slaves. And most of them never returned to their beloved ones after the Second World War too. We were deprived of the industrial base by the Japanese, and many Koreans suffered, and many women suffered also. And also, 2 Koreas were occupied by the Soviet Union Army and the U.S. Army. The Soviet Union Army came to the North Korea, and U.S. Army came to South Korea, and they divided Korea into 2 Koreas. But the hatred between 2 Koreas brewed, and the North Korea initiated the Korean War in 1950, and in 3 years, more than 3 million soldiers and civilians were killed. So almost 90% of the industrial base was destroyed in the Korean War period. And this is the central part of the metropolitan Seoul area, the capital city of the Seoul area. Right behind this building there is a presidential office, and this is around the Gwanghwamun Square. Total destruction you can see. And also they ran away from North Korea to South Korea to find the freedom and to save their beloved ones. And in the Korean War, so many children became beggars and orphans, and many orphans were sent to American families and Canadian families to start a new life there. They lost their family, their parents. You know, as I told you before, Korea is sharing very 2 common things. Korea suffered from colonialism, as many developing countries suffered. And also we had the genocide, killing more than 3 million people. You know, we see many developing countries are having conflict and genocide too. We lost the industrial basis, and Korea was one of the poorest nations on the earth. And this is the picture taken in the capital city, Seoul area. You see the slums houses here and dirty streams here. But take a look at the next picture. This is exactly the same place as you saw just before. This is what happened in Korea. And also you take a look at those two buildings. Those are two buildings, are twin buildings, 10-story high. Those two buildings were built, financed by the U.S. foreign aid and built by a Filipino construction company in 1961. And you already saw that in 1961, our income, per capita income was $92, and the Filipino income was $611. So at the time, we did not have any engineering skills, and so we had to invite a foreign company, Filipino company, to build those two buildings. Currently, this is the Ministry of Culture building, and this is the U.S. Embassy building. We did not have any engineering skill and construction skill. But take a look at the next picture. This building is called the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Burj Khalifa in Dubai. This is the world's tallest building, 828 meters high. That building was built by Samsung C&T in 2010. When Samsung built this building, world's tallest building, Samsung employed 3 satellites to make this building up straight. 3 satellites up here to make this building up straight. And as you know, the Mission Impossible 4, the main actor, the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible 4, was pictured at this building. Samsung built it, Korean company built it. And this is the picture of the Incheon International Airport. This airport won the World Best Award in 8 straight years. It has cyber terminal and self-check-in and auto-boarding transport system. It takes 90 minutes in departure process, but the ICAO recommendation is 60 minutes, and it takes 12 minutes in entry process. ICAO recommendation is 45 minutes. When this airport was built in 1990, Korean government sent a delegate would like to learn and the airport control system in Heathrow Airport in London, but the Heathrow Airport Authority did not allow us to see inside of the airport. But we came to ask them to receive some amount of money to see inside of the Heathrow Airport and to give some guidelines and directions to the Koreans. Finally, they could see the inside of the Heathrow Airport and also got some instructions. And after we built this airport, the delegations from the Heathrow Airport asked us to see the airport management system and all other facilities. We allowed them to see those for free. And the success stories are reproduced in other areas. Music, and the figure skating. If you do not have enough money, you cannot raise the singers, and also it takes lots of money to train a figure skater. The success story in industries are shared in the cultural area and sports area too.